Peace. It's your brother Cool. So, I want to put my perspective on a view that a lot of, there's like a lot of different views on, I guess pretty much what Noble Drew Ali said in terms of black, according to science, means death. I can't stress enough. When Noble Drew Ali said what he said, remember, what he said was said in the English tongue or English translation. I don't even know. I guess the English translation, English is the original. You know what I'm saying? So if he's speaking in English, that is the tongue that's being used. So I don't think that black is a bad term. I don't think it's a bad term. I just think it's an incomplete term when we're using English. And let's be honest, that's the language we use in. Okay? English is the freaking trade language of the world, unfortunately. So until we start formulating our own languages, you know what I'm saying? At that point, yes, within our own private jurisdiction, yeah, there's nothing wrong with black. We are black people. But in the English language, that's not going to cut it, because guess what? The English language is a system that they created. The legalese is a trap game that they created. All right? That's their game. So, is there, you know what I'm saying? Is their copyright. I mean, that's pretty much the only way I could pretty much stress that. You know what I mean? It's their copyright. So black, according to science, means death. We're using the English language. So everything that's being translated or definitions given is once again in the English language. So it makes no sense for me to go back and use Kemetic language, because it just doesn't apply now. Right? Don't we say that all the time? There are just certain things in the past that just don't apply now. They don't apply now. So there's no, that's like no different of a scenario. Like in the Kemetic tongue of Medu Neter, there's nothing wrong with black. Amongst ourselves privately as people, there's nothing wrong with us referring to ourselves in black. But when we're out here in public, all right, dealing in Rome with these Romans in the jurisdiction of the United States, then guess what? I don't care, no matter what you say. When you get pulled over by a cop, you speaking to him in English. You're speaking to her in English. When you got to go to court, you're speaking in English. Unless you got a translator if you don't speak English. But come on, we all speak English, right? We was all born here on this land, man. We was all raised and taught up in English. Thank God for our parents who kept the cultural things alive and and spread the language down to us. But other than that, everyone know English. You go to court, you're speaking in English. So if I'm going to court, I can't apply Medu Neter in court. You understand what I'm saying? Unless I choose to use that jurisdiction. But why would I have to just use the Medu Neter jurisdiction if I can just simply use a treaty that covers all that? Because we're all everything. We are everything, and everything is us. We're the Egyptians, we're the Aztecs, we're the Mayans, we're the Olmecs, we're the Lucukade, which means the people of the islands. Okay? Kekeya, Mejendaneo, even Manchuria, people of Europe. We're all of them. So it's pointless, okay? But right now, we're using Rome's language to communicate, because everything's done in commerce. So if we're using the language, follow protocol. And that's what I believe the Prophet Drew was saying. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Black, according to science, means death. And guess what? You look up in Black's Law Dictionary, you look up Supreme Court cases, you find out that there's no legal signification to the term black or colored. Okay. In the English language, there's no legal signification to the term black or colored. So what that registers in my mind is shit. If I go in there saying that I'm black, light skin, yellow, African American, I have no rights that they're legally bound to acknowledge. legally and lawfully. Correct? So, I look up terms. People. You know what I'm saying? So if they can't, so if the courts can't recognize colors, right, then I'm like, damn, let me see what a community is. You know what a community is? It's a group of people inhabiting a landmass. Why? Because it's called civil. And so guess what? If black people or people of color or artificial people don't have no rights that the courts or judges are bound to acknowledge, guess what that means? That means you fall under the term civil little mortus. That's Latin. That means civilly dead in the eyes of the law. Now, what does civilly mean? Civilly comes from the term civil or civis, okay? Which means citizen / community, right? Because that's what civil is. It's synonymous with community. And so there's nothing wrong with being a citizen. The issue is, what community are you a citizen of? So let's break down what a community is, because this is all branching down from civil little mortus, dead in the eyes of the law. So civil, right? Civil means community. So how do you define community? Community is a group of people inhabiting a place, sharing or having common characteristics, or certain things in common, certain goals, interests, historical factors. Okay. So if I'm dead in the eyes of the law, civil little mortus, that means I'm civilly dead from a community. That means I have no community, right? Because in a community, you'll find people. And then I looked up what people means. Yo, you'll be amazed. I look up the term people. Guess what the first thing that pop up? Let that sound go by. Look up the term people. Guess what pop up? Human beings. Human beings. They even go into race. It just says straight up human beings. So if you're civil little mortus by plain colors, right? Because that's what colors falls under that status of. You have no rights under the law, because the judges are bound legally not to acknowledge colors, because colors doesn't reference civilization, civil little mortus. So if you're dead from civilization, that means you're dead from a community, you're dead from people, and you're dead from human beings.